The lawn care season is underway and it's time for me to get started. Let's get out of the weeds. So I'd like to thank you for coming back to another video. The last time I was on here, I was talking about getting ready to put down some pre-emergents and getting ready to anticipate the beginning of the season. Well, a few weeks later, and here we are. It is the beginning of the lawn care season for most of us. Now, when it comes to lawn care, both the fun of it and the challenge of it can be our life schedule sometimes. Now, for me, I've been gone away from my house for the last 3 weeks. I got sent off for a work trip, and so now I'm back here and I'm feeling like I'm way behind. So it's time to get me caught up and get me to where I need to be. Now, one thing you'll hear me consistently talk about when it comes to lawn care is getting on a good schedule, a good mowing schedule, a good fertilizing schedule. Get some consistency that works for your life. Now, with that being said, not everything works out perfectly. There's times we're going to go on vacation, or there's times we're going to be away, or just get busy with different things that don't have to do with the lawn. And that's okay. I'm like behind here where there's a couple things that I wanted to get done that I haven't gotten done yet. And so if you're kind of ever in that situation, I want you to relax. It'll be fine. Just want to get caught up whenever you can at the right thing, because with lawn care, most things happen in windows. There's timing for putting down weed control, timing for fertilizer, and it's not usually, hey, this set day I got to do it. So if you're off a week or two here or there, it'll work out just fine. So what I'm going to cover in this video is I'm going to kick off my season and get my lawn ready to roll. Now, the first thing, if you notice behind me, is my lawn is really overgrown. It literally looks like a jungle in some spots. And so you can see here, if you get down, you can see how tall some of this is. And so the lawn, just in general, you see spots that are real tall, spots that aren't as tall. And so in general, the lawn just needs a good first mow of the season. And I would have liked to have gotten that done a little bit sooner, but since I was gone, there was not really much I can do. Now, one thing that's always worked for me is anytime I freak out about my lawn, or I feel like I'm behind, or my lawn needs something, or doesn't look quite right, one of the best things that you can really do for your lawn is just give it a good, nice, clean mow. And a lot of times, a lot of your problems feel like they go away, just because cool season grass always looks best right after a fresh mow. And so that's going to be the first thing that I'm going to do. But my lawnmower is not even ready for the season yet, and so I gotta make sure I got the oil change and the blade sharp so that I can even mow. And so I'm going to do that first. So here I am in my garage with my mower. Now the first thing I'm going to do is get my mower ready to roll for the year. So I'm going to do an oil change real quick, and I'm going to put a new air filter in, and we're going to put on a new set of blades. Now, first off, when it comes to the air filter, very easy to change. So I'm going to just rip this open here, and every mower will be slightly different with where it's located. You could just consult your owner's manual. Typically it's just going to be kind of on one of the sides or in the front somewhere, but for my Honda mower, it's just right over here. So all I'm doing is popping the cap off, pulling the old one out so you can see the old one with the color difference there. So you got the old one there. So now when it comes to changing your lawnmower's blade, you can go to the store and buy a new one for it, which I have here. At the store, they'll come pre-sharpened, so you do not need to typically sharpen it. Most of the ones you're going to buy for just your homeowner mowers are already going to come sharpened. Now, I have done videos in the past where I've taken my blades off and hand sharpened them. There's a really easy way to do that. I'll put the link up here in the video for if you want to actually sharpen blades and not buy new ones. Typically for your standard mower like this, your blades are going to range anywhere from $25 to like $40 to put a new set of blades. So every couple years I like to buy just a brand new set, but in between time I like to sharpen them. So I have done videos in the past showing you how to sharpen them really easy. So now I'm going to put this new blade on. And that's all there is to it with putting on a brand new blade. So now, blade's ready to go. Last thing I need to do is a quick oil change. Now it's time to mow the lawn for the first time this year and see what we got. You can notice neighbors across the street there trying to get one up on me. Let's see how long this lasts. And so, if you wanted to get an idea of how overgrown my lawn is, you can see how far I'm hacking it down with my mower. So I definitely needed to be out here sooner than I am and start mowing. So that's why it's really important on your first mow to make sure you just raise that baby to the top to help alleviate it, especially if you're a little bit behind on getting your first mowing. Yeah, so that's the thing there about getting yourself a nice mow. Just look at the difference already. So here's what it looks like before a cut. In general, anytime you're mowing at all, you never really want to hack your lawn off. So always try to keep your lawn setting to either the highest or second highest setting on your mower, especially if you're starting out. Yes, you can mow cool season grass lower than that, but it's much easier if you're a beginner getting into lawn care to keep your mowing height a little bit higher. So many people, when they first get their first house and they get their first lawn, they love to just keep that lawnmower real low and hack it all down to the ground. And this can really be damaging to your lawn. So a lot of your problems can be fixed just by mowing it a little bit higher. So here I am, I got my mowing done and my lawn is looking good again. But now I'm in that perfect window of opportunity for putting down my first pre-emergent and fertilizer application. Now, I made a video here about a month ago going over what a pre-emergent is, why we put it down, what we're putting it down for. And I talked about kind of getting into that window with our soil temperatures. As the weather starts to heat up a little bit in the spring, we're going to be getting into our window of looking for that 50 to 55 degree soil temperature as kind of our ideal time to put down our first pre-emergent application. Now, in that video, I talked about several different ways and methods of putting it down. And typically in the past, if you reference older videos I've done, I've always just put down a pre-emergent application by itself and then fertilized separately. And so I never really typically have done kind of a pre-emergent and a fertilizer mixed together in the bag. But this year, since I'd referenced it kind of in the earlier video, I went out and I decided I'll just buy what's easily readily available in the store for any of us. So if any of you go into a store, you're probably going to see this exact bag or something very similar to it in pretty much anywhere that has any kind of fertilizer or weed control. Now, just looking at the bag here, you can see it says Halt's Crabgrass Preventer. So right away, it's a preventer, so it tells me, hey, that's a pre-emergent. So this bag here actually has a fertilizer in with it, So I do not need to also buy fertilizer. This will be a pre-emergent and my fertilizer all in one application, so you don't need to do both. Now, one thing I want you to use caution when you're going and buying a pre-emergent in the store, sometimes the advertisements can be pretty misleading if you're not carefully reading the bag. Just from the Scott's products, when I was in the store that I went into, I saw 3 things that could easily be confused as a pre-emergent. Some were pre-emergent and some weren't. And so to show you this example, I have what I got here. There's also, it'll say Scott's, it'll be a weed and feed. And then there was like another one that mentioned like a triple action. And so it showed like 3 things. And then I believe there was actually even one more, so like a 4th one. And so there was actually like 4 of them that you could kind of look at and think, are these all the same thing? But they're actually not. Some of them aren't even a pre-emergent. Some of them are post-emergent. So you have to be very careful when you're reading the bag. So when you're looking at this back of this bag, you can kind of be misled a little bit to thinking that it's going to control dandelions and clover because you see them right here. But dandelions and clover will not be controlled by anything within this bag here. This is just listed for tips for lawn care success. So it's general tips, not actually anything that's in this bag. If you want to see what's in this bag, you got to look at the prevents here up here, and it lists off the different weeds that it controls. So grassy weeds are typically going to be weeds that look like your grass. Broadleaf weeds are typically going to be weeds that have really weird shapes, different colored flowers. So it's not really going to, they're going to be easily known that it's a weed and shouldn't be in your lawn. And then you can know that this is actually a fertilizer too, because it goes through here. I can see here with lawn food. So that tells me anytime something says lawn food, that's just typically a fertilizer. So this is a 30-04. So 30% nitrogen, 0 phosphorus, and 4% potassium. And then it kind of has a more in-depth breakdown with the different types. And so in this bag here, what I'm getting is I'm getting essentially a crabgrass preventer, keeping that crabgrass stopped before I see it emerge in my lawn, and then also feeding my lawn, helping my lawn to get thicker, darker, healthier, all within this one kind of application. So here I have my typical broadcast seed spreader. For people that are brand new starting out, I think it's probably just easiest to just buy the Scott's seed spreader, because if you notice here as I flip across on the back of the bag, what you're going to want to find out is what setting do I need to have my spreader set to be able to put this down at the proper application. And so for anything Scott's related, you can easily find the setter spreadings right on the back. So if you look, you typically, for most of us, we want to stay with a broadcast spreader. What this is it's going to be a spreader that kind of shoots out the fertilizer or the seeds, kind of broadcasts it out, as opposed to a drop spreader, which kind of drops it just directly underneath of it. So most of you are going to want to be using a broadcast spreader, and any Scott's broadcast spreader will have these big orange knobs on it, and it'll give you a number. And so for this one, if you have a Scott's spreader, you just set the number to 3, load up the hopper, and you're ready to go. The only thing that you still need to make sure you know is how much of the product to get. So make sure you know the size of your lawn. One of these smaller bags here covers 5,000 square foot. So for me, I need 2 of these bags to cover my entire lawn to give me the proper application. Okay, so you can see here, you got the fertilizer in there. It's kind of this yellowish orange color. And so we're all ready to go. And so I got a little helper here. And so, Amelia, what are we putting down on the lawn?
Fertilizer.
Fertilizer? And so what's this fertilizer going to help with our grass?
Help it grow.
Help it grow? Okay, good. And so now we got the hopper loaded up, and we're ready to put it down on our lawn. Amelia, you ready to help me?
Yes.
right, so we just got down our fertilizer and pre-emergent application. So now I just need to get it watered in real nice by some rain, and my lawn will be good to go. This is going to help prevent the crabgrass that we typically see here later in the year. And so that's the thing to note against a pre-emergent versus a post-emergent. Pre-emergent, we're getting it down ahead of time before we see the weeds later in the year. Post-emergent, this is going to be stuff we're going to be dealing with after we already see it in the lawn. And so dandelions are going to be a big problem for us with cool season grass starting now kind of through the next couple months here as our lawn care season kind of gets rolling on. There's nothing worse than having a nice beautiful dark green lawn and then you start seeing some of those yellow dandelions popping up. And so I'm going to be walking you guys through not just dandelions, but some other weeds that we'll typically see kind of in cool season grass during the spring. And I'm going to show you some of the best practices to make sure that these will no longer be a problem starting this year and for years to come. And so with that, I hope you guys enjoyed this kind of kickoff to the lawn care season. I felt like I was a little bit behind in it, but now I'm kind of all caught up, ready to roll and ready to dominate and have a good season. If you guys like these videos, please be sure to like and subscribe to this channel. If you ever have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. I am more than willing to help you guys. Thank you guys for all your support, and I'll see you guys next time when we get out of the weeds into a beautiful lawn.